Hello. Now, today we are going to look at multiplying expressions. Now, expressions are like sentences. If a term is each word in our sentence, then an expression is our sentence. So it's several terms added or subtracted from each other. So this would be an expression in here. So when we want to multiply out expressions, we run into a problem. If we have something like 5 by 2, we know how to multiply it. We just multiply 5 by 2 and we get 10. Plus by plus is plus, and 5 by 2 is 10. But if we have a bracket here, how do we figure out what bits we need to multiply? We know it's multiply because we have a number sitting next to a bracket, but how do we multiply it? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. Now, the way that we multiply these, I'm going to highlight by doing a number example. So the numbers and letters follow the same rules. We've talked about that before. So let's do out this problem in two different ways. The first way is the way we're already familiar with, which is going to be using our BIMDAS rules. So the order of operations is do the brackets first. So we'd end up with 2 plus 5 would be 7, and then do our multiply, and we would end up with 21. And I should have equals in there. Now, we should always follow BIMDAS where we can, but I'm going to show you something that will work separate from BIMDAS. So instead of simplifying our bracket first, we're going to do our multiply first. And the way we're going to do it is the number outside of our bracket, the 3, is going to get multiplied by each thing inside the bracket. So I have my blue arrows, my blue lines that are going to point me towards what I'm going to multiply. So this is going to become 3 by 2 plus 3 by 5. And when I get that, I get 6 plus 15 is equal to 21. Now, when we're dealing with pure numbers, we should always follow BIMDAS because it's very safe. There are examples like this where BIMDAS can be worked around, but we shouldn't do it if we don't have to. So why am I bringing it up here? I'm bringing it up because we can't simplify this bracket. We can't add these things together. X and 3 are not the same type of thing. They're not like terms, so we can't add them. Because we can't add them, we cannot simplify our bracket like we'd like to with BIMDAS. So because we can't simplify our bracket, we're going to have to fall back on this method that's a little bit more confusing to follow, but it's all we can do because we can't do what we'd like to do, which is simplify the bracket. So because we can't follow BIMDAS as normal, we're going to have to use this method instead. So I'm going to take my 2 and I'm going to multiply it by each thing inside the bracket in turn. So that's going to become 2 multiplied by x plus 2 multiplied by minus 3. And we're going to add up the stuff that is multiplied. So we're going to have, pardon, I shouldn't have brackets around my 2. That is not consistently what we'll do. So we're going to have 2 and plus 2. So we have a plus 2 here, so it's plus 2 multiplied by x and plus 2 multiplied by minus 3. I've multiplied my plus 2 outside the bracket by each thing inside. So 2 by x is just written as 2x. Number sitting next to letter means multiply. And I have plus 2 multiplied by minus 3, plus multiplied by minus is minus, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. And that's as far as we can go with that because this is an x and this is a number. We can't add dissimilar or unlike terms. Now let's do our next problem. So this time I have 3 things inside my bracket. I have a bigger expression inside my bracket here, but I'm going to follow exactly the same method. I'm going to have 5 multiplied by x squared multiplied by minus 2x multiplied by plus 3. And I'm going to multiply each thing in turn. So this is going to be equal to 5 multiplied by x squared plus 5 multiplied by minus 2x plus 5 multiplied by 3. You can put in plus 3 and plus x squared if you like. 5 multiplied by x squared we just write as 5x squared. Plus multiplied by minus is minus. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, and multiplied by x. Plus multiplied by plus is plus. 5 multiplied by 3 is 15. This is as far as I can go because this is an x squared, this is an x, this is a pure number. There's no simplifying I can do. I can't add up any of these terms. Here I have 3m multiplied by 2m minus 7. Same deal as before. Multiply what's outside by each thing inside. So 3m multiplied by 2m multiplied by 2m plus 3m multiplied by minus 7. This is a plus 3m because there's no symbol in front of it, so we assume it's a plus. Now, 3 by 2 is 6, m by m is 2 m's multiplied together, and the shorthand for that is m to the power of 2, or m squared. Plus by minus is minus. 3 by 7 is 21 multiplied by m. Again, this is as far as I can go because m squared and m are not the same term. They're not the same type of term. Now, here I'm going to have to do a little bit more work. I have 3a multiplied by a plus b minus 2 multiplied by a squared minus 3. But I'm going to follow exactly the same steps. And this is an important thing about our maths. Even though this looks a little bit different, there's a bit of it that looks similar to what we already know. So we're going to do the bit of it that we know how to do. We're going to go 3a multiplied by a, and this is a plus 3a, pardon, I should have my equal signs in here, plus 3a multiplied by plus b, minus 2 multiplied by a squared, minus 2 multiplied by minus 3. Well, what was different this time? I had minuses here because this was a minus 2. So I have minus 2 multiplied by both of the things in the bracket. So 3a multiplied by a is 3a squared. 3a multiplied by b is 3ab, and I write things in alphabetical order, so a comes before b. Then minus by plus is minus 2a squared. Minus by minus is a plus. 2 by 3 is 6. Is there anything I can add up here? Yes, there is. I have 3a squared and minus 2a squared. I don't have any like terms for these, so I leave them alone. So I have 3a squareds minus 2a squared, so I'm left with 1a squareds, which I just write as a squared. I could put in a 1 here if I wanted to. I wouldn't lose any marks. Then I write 3ab, and finally I write my constant on the end. Finally, I have this sum here, so I have 4 multiplied by a minus 3 and minus multiplied by my second bracket here. So I have 4 multiplied by a minus 3, and I have minus multiplied by 7 plus 4a. So let's apply our method that we've been using. 4 by a, this is a plus 4 by a, plus 4 multiplied by minus 3, minus multiplied by 7, minus multiplied by 4a. So 4a, it's just 4a, plus multiplied by minus is minus. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, minus by plus is minus and a 7, and minus by plus is minus for 4a. And then do I have any like terms? I do. I have several of them. So I have 4 plus 4a minus 4a, and I have minus 12 minus 7. So if I have plus 4a's and I take away 4a's, how many a's do I have left? Well, I have 0 A's. So that sums to 0 A's. I could write down 0A, and there wouldn't be any problem with that. So I'll just write it down here. You get full marks for writing that. 0 A's. I started +4, I -4 away, I end up at 0. And I have -12 minus 7 will give me -19. But I don't tend to bother writing down when I have nothing of something, because there's loads of things I have nothing of. I also have no B's in this, but I don't bother writing down 0B. So when I have 0 of something, I tend to not bother writing it down, and I just have -19 as my final answer. And that's what we need for multiplying our expressions.